Rabinowitz.
Well, you said in Indianapolis that your hope, ideally, you would have an idea of the quarterback would be by the end of the second week of camp. We're now entering the second week of camp. Do you feel that timeline is still realistic? What have you seen from those guys?
No, I think after this week we're going to have a really good feel. I think that Wednesday will be a big day, Saturday will be a big day, and we'll take Sunday off and come up for air. And at that point, I think we'll have a pretty good feel. I think that maybe it'll take another week after that, but we'll see. I mean, now that we're, like you said, we're kind of getting into, I guess, practice 5, but again, at 20 practices now when you include the spring. So it's a pretty good body of work that we're putting together day after day. We'll be ready next week, I don't know, but it'll be pretty close to that timetable.
I don't expect you to share it, but in your own mind, do you feel like somebody's starting to separate?
No. I mean, we're going to kind of figure that out as we go, and then talk to the guys and go from there.
Right next door, Bill Landis.
Ryan, we've talked a lot with Jeremy Ruckert over the years about transforming physically to become a kind of complete tight end, but he was talking at media days about some cognitive training that he does, just sort of like thinking about things differently now. I'm wondering, can you get a sense as a coach about when guys are really growing in that kind of area? And if you notice anything about Jeremy in terms of just sort of how he thinks about football now?
I think when you get to a certain point physically, you want to start taking the next step in your mental approach to things, and I think that's probably what he's talking about. And it's so important, the mental toughness of the game and visualizing things. And some guys do a better job of others in that area, but again, a lot of maturity with him. He looks like he's really done a lot of great work to his body this summer, and he's got the right approach. He's made some really good catches for us, and so I'm impressed with where he's at. He's got to keep building over these next couple of weeks, but I mean, from what I can tell, his mental approach has been good. He's been on it. It'll probably be even more important as we start to get into game week, visualizing plays, visualizing routes. Again, right now we're kind of just repping in practice a little bit like Groundhog's Day, but I think my guess would be that would more show up on game week.
And DeJuan Jones seems like a guy who kind of turned some heads immediately when he got here, especially considering where he was ranked coming in. Just what has he done to catch your attention in that way, where you try to move him around and try to find him and way to get on the field?
Yeah, he's grown a lot in 3 years. I think that he's a basketball player trying to figure out how to play football. I kind of laugh sometimes and say he's the largest skill player of all time. But he's done a really good job in the off season of being serious and coming to work every day. And now, in the first 5 practices, he's flashed. Several of the offensive linemen have come up to me and said, DeJuan's really done a good job in his approach. And I think that if he can just keep putting one day in front of the other, and these next 2 weeks will be really important for him because he has the ability and he's flashed at times. He can do it. Now, can he consistently do it over time, which is the key to a great offensive lineman, because it's a grind being an offensive lineman. You have to be tough, and you don't get a ball, especially for somebody who played a lot of basketball like DeJuan did, you don't get to touch the ball. You have to continually embrace what it means to be an offensive lineman, and that's a lot of walkthrough. It's a lot of meeting time. It's a lot of drill work. It's a grind, and so you have to embrace that. Once he embraces that, the sky's the limit for him.
Right next door, Dan.
Ryan, you didn't mention Field Chambers as a running back. Has he settled in at linebacker at this point?
He has, yeah, and I think he's really done a good job. He has natural instincts over there. It's something that we wanted to take a look at and asked his feedback this past week, and he said he'd like to try it full time. Absolutely, and the guys on defense have been very, very impressed right from the jump. That you can usually tell right away if somebody's just natural at it. He is, and he's very, very athletic, and so he's really upgraded that room, and I expect him to make an impact this season.
What kind of role do you play at that?
I mean, I hope that he can provide depth early in the season and then grow into a more consistent role as the season goes on. I mean, as you watch film, it's all new to him, so you have to be fair. He needs a ton of reps, but I think every rep that you invest in him, you're going to get back, because not only is he intelligent, but he has the skill set too to do it. So I know all the guys, and I am very, very excited for him, to see kind of where this goes over the next couple of weeks, if he can take strides to be able to help us and give us some plays early in the season, and then, like I said, a more significant role midway to the end of the fall.
We've got a guest from Quebec City by way of San Francisco, writes for Blue Pennant, which is a French-Canadian football publication. Blaze, second row left there.
Hey.
Good morning, Coach. Quick question. You're 15-0 in the Big Ten, and I was wondering, who do you see as your biggest threat this year in the conference, and value do you put in last season when assessing the strength and weaknesses of your future opponents?
I think first off, it's the next opponent. I think for us, we try not to get too far down the road of anything. I mean, it's Minnesota on September 2nd. That's all that we're looking at right now. And every team poses a different type of challenge. I think the thing about this league is there's great balance and there's great parity. And so, if you don't bring it, then you're going to get knocked out. And it's no secret that we've won the Big Ten championship here for 4 straight years. So the bullseye's never been bigger on our chest. We just lost a top quarterback in the country to Justin Fields. We've graduated some more guys. So every year guys are coming after us. We know that. Well, it's not any different this year. So this league has great coaches, has great players, and again, if you don't bring it every week, the other thing is we play 9 games, play 9 conference games, unlike anybody else. So that's a big deal. And if you don't bring it week in and week out, you're going to get upset, and we've also seen that before. So last year, I think last year was hard. I think for a lot of people, I think some teams got hit with the virus different than others. There were so many different dynamics at play based on where they were and their team, and you could lose 1 or 2 guys at key positions and not really be your whole team. So we saw that as well during our season. So I don't know. Some of these teams, when you looked at last year's film, I think it gives you a little bit of an idea where they're at. But I think this year will be much different.